Hello and welcome to FX Addicts Weekly Market Analysis. This is Tim, the Currency Professor, and today is Friday, September 27th, 2013. Coming in, winding up a week, and almost winding up the month of September. We've had some pretty decent action today, and mostly concentrated dollar negative again. But we'll go over that in a minute. Just for right now, we'll hit some of the economic news that came out today, and then a look forward to next week as well. Economic news started today in Japan with the core CPI rate, and that was 0.8%, a little bit higher than the expectations of 0.7. So that's a good thing for Japan. They're trying to get the inflation number up. However, the Tokyo core rate was 0.2, which was a little disappointing. It's a little bit below expectations and quite a bit below last month's 0.4, so a little bit of a disappointment there. In Europe, French consumer spending down 0.4%. That was a little bit of a surprise. They were expecting a little bit of an increase of 0.1%. Last month was up 0.4, so over the last 2 months, kind of a zero game there. In the U.S., personal spending, personal income, personal spending up 0.3 as expected. Personal income up 0.4. Just slightly less than the expectations of 0.5, but both numbers above last month, so looking pretty good. Also in the U.S., the revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment number, 77.5, a little bit below the 78.2 that was expected, but still above last month's, the first reiteration that we saw 2 weeks ago, 76.8. So a little bit better than expected. Next week, we got a few reports of notice here, so let me run through these. Monday's economic data is a little light. Japan will report the retail sales as well as their preliminary industrial production. Preliminary industrial production number will probably be the most market moving, as it is a preliminary number, and it is expected to be a negative 0.2%. So that comes out much different than we could see some volatility, especially in the yen. Tuesday is a bank holiday for China. Actually, Tuesday through the end of the week, Friday, is a bank holiday for China. So things will be a little quiet over there. However, in Japan, they do report the Tankan report, which will come out late New York time. Expectations are for 7 on the manufacturing and 14 on the non-manufacturing. This is both up from last month's numbers, so we'll see how that actually comes out. Those could be market movers. They're always closely watched. Also on Tuesday out of Europe, there's some PMI reports, manufacturing PMI reports coming out, and also in the UK. And then also the unemployment rate for Europe, which is expected to again be 12.1%. In the U.S., ISM manufacturing PMI comes out, expectations for 55.3, slightly less than last month's 55.7. Also construction spending, expectations for just a slight decline from last month's increase, about 0.5% is expected this month. Then on Wednesday, we got the ADP non-farm payroll estimates. Expectations are for 177,000. Last month was 176. So this is the precursor to the official unemployment numbers that come out on Friday by the U.S. government. And then also on Wednesday, the ECB meets. So they will have their statement out sometime late morning Europe time, early morning New York time. Then on Thursday, a few more PMIs out, services PMIs out of Europe. Nothing expected to be anything dramatic. And then in the U.S., unemployment claims, weekly unemployment claims. Expectations are for right now about 315,000, so it's staying low in that low 300 range. And then also the ISM non-manufacturing PMI. Expected to show a little bit less of a number than last month, 57.2 this month, as opposed to 58.6 last month. And then on Friday, the Bank of Japan meets, so they will have a press conference as well. And then the big kahuna of reports, non-farm payroll out of the U.S. and unemployment rate. Non-farm payrolls are expected to be 179,000. Last month was 169. We'll be watching also for revisions to that 169 number. And the unemployment rate is supposed to stay steady at 7.3%. Okay, on to the technicals. Right now, Euro US dollar up about 32. We were up quite a bit earlier, since falling back, so now we got this nice tail sticking up here, and we got some pretty good consolidation, looking more like a top. We'll have to see how we look next week, but right now it's looking pretty top heavy. On the weeklies, we got this little negative bar now, and does look like a turnaround coming, so we'll see exactly how we close. We still got a couple hours left here in trading, but this could be a turnaround pattern. So, and then on the monthlies, well, we got one more trading day for the month, and it looks like we'll probably close up in this general area. So we do have a little bit of an incline going here, not nearly as steep as the one that was back here, and we have having real difficulty pushing up to these highs up in here. So really it lacks a lot of conviction on the upside here, so really looking forward to fall back here at some point. British pound against the US dollar doing a little bit better here today, up 89, off of some comments from Chairman Carney that he's against any more quantitative easing there. So the pound jumping up on that. It's really looking quite bullish here. It would have been better if we closed up above these highs, but again, we still have Monday to do that. If we look on the weeklies, looks pretty good on a weekly basis as well. We're staying above this trend line. That's a positive sign. And monthly, it looks like we're going to close the month out well above this trend line. So again, that is a positive as well. The next real resistance is up here around that 163 mark. We're going to need to close significantly above that to really get us going. And then ultimately is the 167 area, 168 area, and that's going to have some real difficulties to it, because all in all we're stuck in this range, and until we get some really good news here for some real rebounding economics for the UK, will we see that pound sterling rally even more than where it is. US dollar against the Swiss franc, right now down 45. We were down quite a bit earlier, and we've retraced pretty well, so had a little bit of a tail here. We might be building a bottom. We've been saying that all this week and pretty much the end of last week too, so this could be a pretty significant bottom here if this stays in this range for the next week or two. We could build a really good base down in here. It's obviously right here in some very good supportive areas. Stochastic's very oversold here, so we got a lot of possibilities here for building a base. We look out on the weeklies, we can see we're right down here in the lower end of the range where we've been for the last 2 years. So again, there's a lot of potential here for a turnaround, probably not a huge turnaround, but certainly something that could carry us up for a little bit and pull us up for at least a couple of weeks. And on a monthly basis, well, this is the biggest month that we've had in several months, and again, it is down. We are down at the lower end of this range, so really at this point we're probably well overdue for a decent sized rally. Now we are bucking up against these trend lines, and we need to close significantly above them in order to get moving significantly to the upside, so it's going to take a lot of momentum to get that to happen. US dollar against Japanese yen down about 80 today. On the week, we're just pretty much status quo here. We had a nice rally yesterday, and giving it all back, plus a little bit today. So kind of negative on the week as well, and forming more and more of this triangular pattern here, where we're just really coming into another peak, at which point we'll probably break out again. And if we look on the weeklies, we can see it a little better here. Really stuck in this trading range that's coming closer and closer to a peak, which usually means we're going to break out. And on the monthlies as well, we are negative now on the month, so we still have that one trading day on Monday, so we'll see how that actually turns out. But this is turning into really nothing more than a consolidation here, and really looking like we'll probably rally back up off of this trend line here, as we're kind of stuck on it here, at least for the last couple of months. Euro Swiss down quite a bit today, down about 30 right now, 31, and kind of picking up a little bit here in its momentum on the downside. So that is usually a sign that we're blowing off here to the bottom. This does that quite often. So maybe on Monday we come in, we end up a little lower, get down to this 122.20 area, and then we'll probably start to bounce back up into October. Longer term, we still look very good for a longer term boost up. It's just going to be a little bit of time till that happens, but we're range bound for right now, and we're on the lower end of the range. Euro yen down today as well, down about 78, back down under 133, and having a tough time this week. Had a couple of up days, but we've given it all back now today, and really still hanging out here above this what was resistance area is now kind of a support area. So we're hanging out right on there, really looking like we'll probably turn around, jump out here to the weeklies. Again, this steep angle, very much like the dollar yen, and we're very close to that trend line. We've been hitting up against it here quite a bit for the last few weeks, but now that we have broken out to the upside, we are having a little bit of a correction this week, and coming weeks we could probably see ourselves running back up. Longer term, we're still looking for us to get back up into this area up in here around that 137, 138 area to kind of complete this whole upward move. At that point, then we could really have a decent and sizable type of correction. So all depends on how we close out this month. We could close very easily near the highs of the month, so this market moves very quickly. So we'll have to wait and see how it does close on Monday, but for the most part it looks positive at this point. US dollar against the Canadian down a little bit today. We're down about 3 pips right now, just above the 103 mark, and yesterday was also tail to the upside and negative, so now we have 2 days like that. Maybe we get a third day on Monday, and then we could probably move up again. This low down in here, this spike low last week, that should hold us. That should be a pretty good low and should stay there for quite a while. We are vulnerable, obviously, to come down and test that level, maybe get down to the 102.50 area, and that would probably be about it, and then we would move up. But ultimately, we have set the lows in right now, and it's just a matter of time until we start moving up. And on the weeklies, we can see we're just barely positive for this week, after last week's very long tail to the bottom side here with a negative body. So we're consolidating here, we're bottoming out. It's just a couple of weeks here that we're doing this, probably next week too, and then we could be off to the races. Now on the monthly basis, looks like we're going to close the month out with almost the exact same ranges as we've had the last couple of months, and really looking like we're probably forming another type of pattern here that would propel us up higher even. So it's just a little bit of time here until we get that momentum going again, and we can see that here, how we've gotten that curvature moving here, and that's really just a sign of that momentum picking up steam. Just a little bit more, maybe another month or two before we really see a rally tone up. Australian, down about 40 pips here, and it's pretty much been that way all week here, and we're just sliding off what could be nothing more than a correction in this up move. We've been looking for it to run up to the 97 area, 96, 97 area, and it's having a lot of difficulties. Every time we rally up, it gets beaten back again. There's certainly a lot of selling pressure. We can see it even more here on the weeklies as we look at these tails, and we jump out here to the monthlies, and here we are coming up close to the end of the month, and we got this nice tail going. So we know that this is really only a correction. So maybe October we do get up to that 96 level, and then turn around from there again, and probably get a very good selling opportunity when we do get up there, if we do, because every time we rally any least a bit, we get some very, very good selling in there. So again, market tone is still negative, longer term still negative. That is it for this week. If you're not a member of FX Addicts, please stop on by www.fxaddicts.com. My name is Tim. You can reach me at tim@fxaddicts.com. feel free to shoot me an email, questions about currencies or interest rates for that matter, or economics. And if you aren't a member, you can certainly give us a try, 7-day free trial. So by all means, sign up for that. And again, if you have any questions, give me a ring. Thank you.